you are new to me today, and you can like go on my Facebook page or my Twitter and see different information or different blog posts, or you've been rocking with me since 2014. There's always like something going out at different times of the day. So that's just like an example of automating content, right? And then there's ways that you can automate your customer service. There are ways that you can automate your sales and marketing. There's ways that you can, automate your email funnels. Like there's a lot of different things to do. So whatever your business model is, try to figure out how can you automate as much as possible. And the reason why this is important is because when you go to move abroad, you don't have to stress yourself out with staying up late. Like staying up late at where you are so you can, service the people with where your business is based.
Makes sense.
Or, you know what I'm saying? So there's like, you want to kind of be as hands off as possible in the sense of like running the day-to-day business. So then you have more time to be creative and to create new things. So that's probably my biggest piece of advice, is more of like the tactical, logistical thing, is to figure out how to automate as much as possible.
And what's the best software for that, for the automation that you use?
So it depends on what you want to automate, but I would say like a big thing that everybody should do this, is like learn how to create email automations or sales funnels, right?
Okay.
So any email client has that type of capability. MailChimp is probably like the one that most people start with because they have like a free plan. But just learning how to automate your emails, which is how you can nurture your new people that are coming to you, how you can, sell products and services on autopilot. So I would say that's probably like my biggest piece of advice.
That's very helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially when you're traveling and because how many hours ahead are you or behind? Because I'm in Florida.
So I am 6 hours ahead of Florida.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
that makes sense.
It's not like super long, but I mean, that's really like a whole work shift, right? Like,
yeah. No, you're right.
Like 6 or 8 hours. So, sometimes when I have meetings or interviews or things, I have to be up I'll have to go to sleep and wake up at like 1, 2, or 3 a.m. in the morning to make sure that I can teach a class or talk or whatever,
yeah.
which, that's a small sacrifice. But if I had to do that every day, to make sure that I'm talking to my clients or, being available, that's not really sustainable.
No, you're right. You're right. Now, the last question is that now that you're on the other side of what people spend years contemplating, like, they might be following you on Instagram, like, oh my gosh, I want her life. I love what she's doing. What advice would you give to those who are contemplating doing what you did, or just rewriting their story, whatever that story is that's nudging them, but they're afraid to do it?
Yeah. So I would say the first step to rewriting your story is to physically write down what it is that you want. And the reason why I say this is because, a lot of people come to me, they're like, oh my gosh, I want to be a travel influencer. I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, do you want to be a travel influencer, or do you want the freedom to travel and do the things that you want to do? Right.
Yeah,
so those are like
things,
two different, very different. Not saying that you can't be an influencer, but most people just want the freedom to do the things that they want to do. If that means more travel, then so be it. If that means spending more quality time with their family and friends, then so be it. If that means spending more time creating, like writing that book or creating other things, then so be it, right? So take some time and write down what you really want, and then why you want those things. And then even go deeper, like what really is hindering me from attaining those things or obtaining them. And it really kind of boils down to, I can guarantee you, is like fear. Fear that people are going to judge you, fear that, you won't be able to sustain yourself, fear of the unknown, which is fine. Like, fear is not really real. Danger is real, but fear is something we have to kind of like work through, or that uncertainty. So I would say, like, take the first step and start, like, writing out what you truly want. Because once you, like, physically write it with your hand and read it, and not type it, but write it with a pen, then you can actually, like, look in your notebook and read, like, wow, this is what I want. And I can guarantee you that, like, different ideas and opportunities will just kind of, like, start opening up for you. And then it also takes, like, you also have to take a step to do action. Like, a lot of times, you know, you can write things down, and sometimes they may miraculously happen, but most of the time you need some sort of plan of action, you know, to start moving towards the things that you want, right? So for me, a huge thing is to make sure that you're preparing yourself. If you decide to leave your job, or if you want to move abroad for, you know, a few months, make sure that you're preparing. And that means financially preparing, mentally preparing, physically preparing, emotionally preparing, spiritually preparing. You know, like, you need to figure out what will it take in order for you to live in Thailand for 6 months, right? Like, start, you know, researching, you know, what's the cost of living? Like, what are the things that I need? What are the bills that I have to pay for at home, right? So just sit down and start trying to figure out, like, what does this look like for me? And then just start moving towards small actions. It doesn't have to be something dramatic where you just, like, forget it. Like, January 1st, it's, you know, we're almost in November. January 1st, I'm about to quit and just move away. Like, if you have the means, then go for it. But for the most part, you need to just take your time. It took me a year to quit. You know, like, I was going to a therapist, but it took me a year of getting my mental together, my emotions together, my spiritual together in order for me to make the huge decision. So while it may seem like it was kind of abrupt, it took me literally a year to even get that confidence to say, like, I can do this, right?
Yeah.
So I would just say take your time. It doesn't have to be, you know, something that's so dramatic. Take your time, but make sure you're just preparing for it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. And now we're going to our rapid fire questions, and this is just a way for listeners to know a little bit about you. So the first one is coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee. Oh, I like tea too. Coffee.
Okay. Which country is your favorite? You've been to 60, right? 60 so far?
Oh, that's such a hard one.
Yeah.
I'll say South Africa since I, like, moved there.
Okay. What surprised you the most about being an expat?
How easily it is to make friends.
Nice. What's your favorite dish?
Oh, man. I would say, oh, my gosh, I like to eat a lot. This is a hard one. I would say right now, like, I'm a bit obsessed with, like, avocado toast.
Oh, okay. And where's your next destination?
Barbados.
Barbados. I hear a lot of good things about Barbados. I really do. I hear it's very nice.
Me too. I'm excited to go. I've never been there, so I'm excited as well.
And your last one is, do you have a recommended book?
So I would say my recommended book is, I can't remember the author's name, but it's called Letting Go, The Pathway to Surrender. It definitely, it's like not a religious book or anything like that. It's more of a scientific book, but it's about letting go and surrendering. And that's like another thing that I've just learned through this process of being an entrepreneur is so often we are like, this is what I want to do, but then you're worried about like, how is it going to happen? We're always like, how is this going to work? What do I need to do? Like, what if this doesn't work, right? But a lot of times when we put things out there, we just have to trust and have enough faith to know that it will happen. Like, if you put it out there, it has to kind of happen for you, right? Especially if it's for, like, the greatest good of your life and your journey. And then you have to just let it go. Like, it'll happen. Let me let it go. Let me surrender to the idea that I don't have to control everything and let it ride. And so that book put a lot of things into perspective, even when it comes to, like, relationships and other people, health, what you, like, business and career and all that stuff. It's actually a really, really good book.
I'm definitely going to put it in the show notes. I love that. I love what you just said,
Yay.
being okay with the fact that you don't have to control everything. And I think that's a hard but also liberating
it's
idea.
Hard.
Yeah. But it's also liberating, right? Like, I don't have to control everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. This is a relief that this is something else I don't have to control.
Yeah.
Right? And so, you know, especially if you know, are an entrepreneur or you work in like a corporate environment or most of us, like you want to be able to control how things go. You want to make sure most of us, right, like want to make sure it's the best. And sometimes it's like you can't control it, and it's cool because you have other factors like other people, environmental things that you can't control. You can't control other people. You can't control the way they react. So it's just like, okay, let me let it go.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It'll happen the way it's supposed to.
And, you know, a lot of times when it does happen, it happens the way it's supposed to, and you feel a lot better than if you were to control everything.
And it happens so much better than the way that you probably would have done
it
anyway.
Exactly.
Right? So.
Exactly. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Sorry for going a little bit over, but it was a great conversation.
It was fun.
And hopefully if I'm in South Africa, I could definitely book your Destinations on Travel. That's very exciting. Yes.
Come through.
All right, then. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Bye.